Oleksandr Usyk's recent performance against Daniel Dubois in their rematch has solidified his reputation as one of the most formidable heavyweights in boxing history. The intensity and focus he displayed were unlike anything seen before, as commentators noted his almost primal drive to dominate his opponent. This wasn't just a fight for Usyk, it was personal. The Ukrainian fighter, known for his technical brilliance and unshakable resolve, stepped into the ring with a purpose that transcended the sport. His preparation, both mental and physical, was evident in every move, every punch thrown with what boxing legend Mike Tyson would call bad intentions. Usyk's ability to channel this intensity into a disciplined, clinical performance left no doubt about his dominance, silencing critics and reinforcing his place at the pinnacle of the heavyweight division. The rematch with Dubois was a defining moment for Usyk, who faced skepticism about his durability and ability to maintain his edge against younger, stronger heavyweights. Many questioned whether the 38-year-old could continue to compete at the elite level, especially after moving up from cruiserweight to face the division's biggest names. However, Usyk answered these doubts with a masterclass in boxing. His timing was impeccable, his footwork flawless, and his composure unshaken throughout the fight. Observers, including respected boxing figure Russ Anber, noted that Usyk came into the bout with something to prove, and he did so emphatically. He controlled the pace of the fight, systematically dismantling Dubois with precision and efficiency. This wasn't just a victory, it was a statement. Usyk proved that his skills remain unmatched, and his performance reaffirmed his status as the top heavyweight in the world. What made this fight particularly significant was the context surrounding it. Dubois and his team, including trainer Don Charles and his son George Fox, had made remarks that struck a personal chord with Usyk. Among these, the most provocative was questioning Usyk's faith, a deeply personal aspect of his life. This criticism seemed to ignite a fire in the Ukrainian, pushing him to deliver a performance that was as emotionally charged as it was technically brilliant. Commentators observed that Usyk's intensity was palpable from the opening bell, with his counterpunches carrying a ferocity rarely seen in his previous bouts. Some speculated that this fight may have marked the quickest knockout of his professional career, a testament to his determination to send a message. Unlike previous opponents like Tyson Fury, who couldn't get under Usyk's skin, Dubois' team crossed a line, and the result was a devastating display of skill and power. Usyk's greatness, however, extends far beyond the ring. At the height of his career, when he could have prioritized his personal success, Usyk made the extraordinary decision to serve his country during the Russian invasion of Ukraine. While many might have chosen safety, Usyk joined the Ukrainian Territorial Defense Forces, putting his life on the line for his homeland. This act of courage and patriotism earned him immense respect, not only in Ukraine but around the world. His presence on the front lines became a symbol of hope and resistance, boosting the morale of both soldiers and civilians. Even after high-profile fights, such as his victories over Fury, Usyk remained in contact with Ukrainian soldiers, raising funds and offering support to his countrymen. This commitment to his nation, regardless of the political complexities of the conflict, underscores his character. To many, this combination of in-ring excellence and real-world heroism elevates Usyk to a level few athletes ever reach. The boxing world has taken notice of Usyk's remarkable journey. Carl Froch, a former champion and respected commentator, has openly acknowledged Usyk's steady rise in dominance. With each fight, Usyk appears more refined, physically stronger, and tactically sharper. Froch pointed out that potential opponents like Joseph Parker, who has suffered losses in the past, would likely struggle against Usyk's superior skill set. In fact, Froch suggested that Usyk might consider retirement, given his unparalleled achievements. Having conquered multiple weight divisions, defended his titles, and established himself as the best of his era, Usyk has little left to prove. Froch's sentiment is shared by many in the boxing community, who believe that facing lesser challengers like Moses Itama would add little to Usyk's already illustrious legacy. Itama, a young and promising prospect, could risk having his confidence shattered by a premature matchup with Usyk, potentially derailing his career. Usyk's physical transformation has also been a topic of discussion. In his most recent fight, he appeared bigger and more solid than ever, reportedly 20 pounds heavier than when he defeated Tyson Fury. This added mass has not compromised his agility or precision, making him an even more formidable heavyweight. Commentators have noted that Usyk now embodies the archetype of a big, solid, dangerous heavyweight, blending size with the technical finesse that defined his cruiserweight days. Despite his age, there's no sign of decline in his performances. However, Frock and others have suggested that retirement might be the wisest choice, as the inevitable effects of aging will eventually catch up. For now, though, Usyk remains a dominant force, with no clear challenger capable of dethroning him. The idea of Usyk facing Joseph Parker or even Derek Chisora has been floated, but few believe these matchups would pose a genuine threat. Parker, despite his experience, lacks the tactical acumen to match Usyk's ring intelligence, while Chisora's appeal lies more in his ability to generate excitement than in his competitive viability. Chisora's rough style and promotional flair could create buzz, but from a boxing perspective, neither fighter seems equipped to challenge Usyk in his current form. Some, like commentator A. Oladipo, have suggested that Chisora's showmanship could make a fight entertaining, but the consensus is that Usyk's dominance would render such a bout one-sided. Parker, on the other hand, would need to seize the moment and make a bold case for a title shot, perhaps by creating a public spectacle as Dubois did to secure his rematch. However, without a significant shift in strategy or approach, Parker's chances of success appear slim. Usyk's performances have drawn comparisons to boxing's all-time greats, particularly Muhammad Ali. While their styles differ, both fighters share a rare level of ring intelligence that sets them apart. Usyk's ability to confuse opponents with rhythm, misdirection, and strategy mirrors Ali's mastery of the sport as an art form. His fights are not just about landing punches but about controlling the narrative of the bout, dictating pace, and exploiting opponents' weaknesses with surgical precision. This cerebral approach has led some to argue that Usyk could be considered the greatest heavyweight of all time, especially when factoring in his achievements across weight classes and his contributions outside the ring. The historical context adds weight to this argument, as Soviet-era fighters like Usyk didn't turn professional until the 1990s, meaning earlier heavyweights didn't face the same caliber of competition. Additionally, modern heavyweights are larger, and southpaws like Usyk are more common, making his dominance even more impressive. Roy Jones Jr., another boxing legend, offered a candid assessment of Usyk's performance against Dubois. He expressed surprise at how thoroughly Usyk outclassed his opponent, noting that Dubois' reliance on power and basic tactics was no match for Usyk's technical brilliance. Jones emphasized that brute force alone is insufficient against a fighter of Usyk's caliber. To defeat him, a heavyweight would need a near-perfect strategy, blending intelligence, adaptability, and precision. Usyk's ability to study his opponents like a chess master, reading their patterns and exploiting their habits, makes him nearly untouchable. Jones' analysis highlights the gap between good heavyweights and truly elite ones, with Usyk firmly in the latter category. His mental sharpness, not just his physical skills, is what sets him apart, leaving even seasoned observers in awe of his performances. Usyk's mindset is another key factor in his success. Despite being a unified champion, he remains grounded and disciplined, never underestimating his opponents. His preparations are rigorous, treating every fight as a potential 12-round battle. This respect for his challengers keeps him sharp, preventing the overconfidence that has derailed other champions. Usyk's humility is not a lack of pride, but a reflection of his belief that the work itself is what matters. This discipline allows him to maintain consistency, regardless of the opponent. Even when facing a dangerous puncher like Dubois, Usyk prepared meticulously, acknowledging the threat while confidently asserting his ability to stop him if the opportunity arose. The transformation from cruiserweight to heavyweight was a significant challenge, but Usyk approached it with the same meticulousness that defines his career. Rather than relying solely on physical adjustments, he evolved strategically, adapting his style to compete with larger opponents without sacrificing his technical foundation. His victories over Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury, and now Daniel Dubois twice demonstrate his ability to outwit and outmaneuver the biggest names in boxing. These wins were not grueling wars but clinical displays of dominance, with Usyk emerging unscathed, as if he'd merely been to the shops, as one commentator put it. This efficiency, combined with his character outside the ring, makes him a unique figure in the sport. Paulie Malignaggi, another respected voice in boxing, praised Usyk's cerebral approach, noting that his footwork and timing set him apart from modern fighters who rely on power or flashiness. Usyk's subtle movements create angles that open up opportunities while denying opponents the chance to land clean shots. This calculated approach allows him to wear down opponents without needing a knockout, though his power has proven sufficient when called upon. Malignaggi highlighted the impact of external factors, such as a wet ring in the first Dubois fight, which may have hindered Usyk's footwork. In the rematch, with optimal conditions, Usyk's movement was described as stupendous and magnificent, allowing him to control the fight effortlessly. His ability to maintain balance and throw punches off tight, energy-efficient movements makes him a nightmare for opponents like Dubois, who tried to pressure him but couldn't disrupt his rhythm. The question of what's next for Usyk looms large. Many, including Frock and Malignaggi, believe he should retire, having achieved everything possible in the sport. His victories over Fury, Joshua, and Dubois, each twice, leave no major challenges on the horizon. Emerging prospects like Moses Itama are seen as too inexperienced to pose a threat, and veterans like Parker or Chisora are unlikely to test him meaningfully. Usyk's legacy is secure, not only as a three-time undisputed champion across 2 weight classes but as a symbol of resilience and integrity. His decision to fight for Ukraine during a time of war, coupled with his flawless record and clinical performances, makes a strong case for him as the greatest heavyweight of all time. While nostalgia may favor Ali, Usyk's unique journey and modern challenges add a compelling dimension to the debate. As the boxing world reflects on Usyk's latest triumph, the consensus is clear. He is a once-in-a-generation fighter. His ability to combine technical mastery with mental fortitude and moral courage sets him apart. Whether he chooses to retire or continue, Usyk has already cemented his place in history. His fights are not just victories but lessons in the art of boxing, and his life outside the ring is a testament to the power of conviction. For now, the heavyweight division belongs to Oleksandr Usyk, and it's hard to imagine anyone taking that crown anytime soon.